Hello, everybody. It's time for another issue of the Fantastic Four. The last time we visited with them, we were introduced to the Black Panther, who was a groundbreaking character in the history of comic books, the first African superhero. Of course, he started off as an enemy of the Fantastic Four, but now he is an ally. And so we're going to enter into another exciting adventure, this time featuring the Black Panther. And don't forget Wyatt Wingfoot, who is Johnny Storm's friend from college. All right, you ready? This story is called The Way It Began, and so we'll be hearing some of the backstory for the Black Panther, who is the Prince of Wakanda, a technologically advanced country in Africa. So, the fabulous FF learned the secret of the Black Panther. All right. Reed says, though the Wakanda tribe lives in the tradition of their forefathers, they possess modern super scientific wonders we can only marvel at. There's an incredible mystery here, and only the Black Panther himself knows all the answers. And Wyatt adds, they are not the ordinary native tribe they seem to be. And then Black Panther says, let the dance of friendship begin. And so the Wakandans are going to be dancing to show their friendship and alliance with the Fantastic Four. Thing says, sheesh, a bunch of Fred Astaire's, they ain't. Johnny says, relax, Ben. It's better than being shot at by them, and I think so. All right, there's kind of a full screen shot of the Black Panther on his throne, his guest, the Fantastic Four, and Wyatt Wingfoot, and then the dance of friendship going on. I still don't get it, says the Thing. They tossed a bunch of science fiction gizmos at us that Doc Doom would be proud of using, and now they're acting like they're all charged up on account of just inventing the wheel. Don't worry, Ben, says Johnny. Old Reed won't cut out of here until he gets some answers himself. A fat lot of good that'll do. Nobody'll be able to understand 'em except him. All right, break it up, break it up. What are y'all gaping at anyway? Well, I know what they're gaping at. He says, ain't you never seen a bashful, blue-eyed thing before? Then Johnny says, let's go, Ben. The Black Panther is inviting us to his private quarters. Wow, says Johnny, what a pad. I'll bet even Hugh Hefner couldn't improve on this layout. Man, adds the Thing, if you gotta live in the jungle, this sure is the way to do it. There must be a lot of dough in Black Pantherin. And Reed says, still another example of the old and the new, darling. Look at that elaborate stereo music system, complete with tape recorder. Of course, if David is watching, man, look at this stereo. It was new back in the 60s, but it's got a reel-to-reel tape recorder, so really outdated now. And Sue says, I just can't believe we're in the heart of the jungle. And then Black Panther says, my guests and I do not wish to be disturbed. You seem puzzled by what you have seen, says the Black Panther. You shouldn't be. After all, I can afford to pamper myself, to indulge my every whim, enjoy every luxury. I am one of the richest men in the world. But look, even though he's rich, his life is going to be cut short if he keeps smoking. That wouldn't happen in comic books these days. Reed says, remember, I believe you, but there's more to your story than mere wealth. You are perceptive indeed, Richards. Actually, the Black Panther lives under a tragic curse, but my tale really begins with the spear and shield of my father, T'Chaka, the warrior king. But even as the dramatic Black Panther begins his revelation, two members of the Territorial Patrol come upon a staggering discovery. Here's the patrol. The entire area seems to have been ripped up as though by giant hands. There are no animals, no birds. Every form of life has been frightened away. And these holes in the ground, impossible though it seems, they can only be tracks, the footprints of some gargantuan creature. Can it be that the rumors of monstrous beasts roaming the jungle are true? I guess so. Look behind them. But they don't see yet. One patrolman says, "At first I thought they were just superstition, old wives' tales to frighten little children, but now I can almost sense the danger upon us." "Hold it," says the other patrolman. "Did you just feel the ground tremble as though beneath the pressure of some titanic weight?" "There, I felt it again. There's no doubt about it. Something is behind us." "Well, I think so. I'd turn around and look." Although, man, I'm not sure seeing will be believing. Look at that gigantic red gorilla. Swiftly turning, the two men recoil in mute shock at the awesome sight that greets their eyes as they fire wildly, desperately at that which confronts them. Crack! Crack! It's like a gigantic gorilla, an unbelievable crimson anthropoid. Keep firing. Our only chance is to frighten him away with our gunshots. It's too late to run. However, the gunfire of the two courageous patrolmen causes a phenomenon far different than either of them expects. Boom! It seemed to explode right before our eyes. It's impossible. It can't be. And yet I saw it too. This is far stranger than anything we expected, much bigger than the two of us can handle. You're right. We've got to get back to the outpost and report it to headquarters. Bach, look, these stones, these boulders are flying all around them. Listen, behind us, that noise, far louder than before. Perhaps the red gorilla has returned. No, look, it's even bigger than the gorilla, more powerful, more dangerous. What can it be? Look, it's a gigantic crimson elephant. It cannot be. There are no such beasts. It is not possible. We must be going mad. I almost wish that were the answer, but we both know we see it. There is much madness here, but it does not lie with us. Look at that. And this gigantic elephant uses his trunk to rip up the tree. The giant elephant hurls trees about as though they are mere twigs, but he does not pursue us. We are virtually beneath the notice of a creature so huge. But where did it come from, and what is it? We've got to find out. We've got to learn what's happening in there, learn how many more of these crimson monsters there are. This is the edge of Wakanda country. Perhaps the answer lies there. And speaking of the Wakandas, it's time once again to rejoin the Black Panther as he continues his narrative. And look, he's carrying the spear and the shield of his father, T'Chaka. He says, "My father was the greatest, wisest chieftain in all of Africa, and his skill as a hunter was second to none." Yawn. Ben, cut that out. Oh, I can't help it. I saw this in a million jungle movies. So, retorts the Black Panther, I'm boring you, am I? Suppose I tell you you're sitting on $20 million. Whoa, they jump up. And Wyatt says, "Do you mean this marble bench beneath us?" "I didn't even pay any attention to it," says Johnny, "but marble isn't worth that much money." "Look closely, Johnny," says Sue. "That isn't marble." Reed agrees. "You're right, Sue. It's some sort of glistening metallic ore." "Say it in English," says the thing, just for once. And the Black Panther answers, "The name of that metal is vibranium." Remember that word. Vibranium is very important. "Even I know that comes from the word vibrate. What does it do? Shiver up a storm if you touch it?" "Exactly the opposite, irascible one. It absorbs vibrations. You might even say it swallows them." "But what makes it so valuable?" "Don't you see, dear?" answers Reed. "It can be worth a fortune to our missile program alone. Rockets made of vibranium would never go off course due to vibrations." "That is correct, Richards," says the Black Panther. "Our virtually inexhaustible supply of vibranium comes from that sacred mound which has bordered the land of the Wakandas since the dawn of time. Every Wakanda chieftain is pledged to protect the sacred vibranium with his life, just as my father was so pledged." And so there's T'Chaka standing in the Black Panther's memory, and his subjects say, "All hail T'Chaka, guardian of the eternal peak. My father was the greatest chieftain of all, wise in council, just in judgment, and brave in battle. Wherever there was danger, there too was T'Chaka, always in the forefront, protecting his people from any stray lions that happened to roam within his borders. To me he was more than father, more than warrior. To me he was like a god." And we see T'Chaka holding up his son, who says, "One day I too shall be chieftain, father, and I shall be worthy of all that you have taught me." And then T'Chaka says, "But now it is bedtime for the littlest chieftain of all." So even young Black Panther has to go to bed earlier than he wants. I bet I know some kids like that. "Look, kiddo," says the thing, "why don't you save yourself the trouble? I know the rest by heart. Everything was hunky-dory until the greedy ivory hunters made the scene." "Ben," says Reed, "for the last time, will you remember that we're his guests?" "Do not be concerned, Reed Richards. I realize my tale may sound contrived to you." Thing says, "You ain't just whistling Watusi, pal. You're talking to a guy who has seen every Tarzan movie at least a dozen times, and I can recite you half of the Bomba the Jungle Boy books by heart. So your little bedtime story ain't impressing me. Let's get to the punchline, huh?" "That's enough, Ben." Well, it really is. He's gone beyond the boundaries of even the thing's rudeness. So Black Panther continues, "I do not mind the thing's interruptions. Perhaps my tale does follow the usual pattern, except for one thing. It was not a greedy ivory hunter who came to our land. No, it was one far more dangerous, far more evil. He called himself Klaw, the master of sound, and he possessed a weapon the like of which no man had ever seen before, a weapon which could convert sound into mass." And here's Klaw. He says, "The fools, they mocked me when I said that vibranium existed, but now I have found it here in this jungle, and it must be mine. Vibranium, the one element I need, the one element which will power my sound transformer so that I may change the basic energy of sound into any living form I desire." Wow, I wonder how that works. I bet we'll see. There he is with his sound transformer. Okay, and they're standing on this peak of vibranium. The Black Panther continues, "I still remember the sight of Klaw, the unsmiling, Klaw the merciless, ordering my father to give up our sacred mound, our precious eternal rock. He says, you have no choice. Once I gain possession of the world's only supply of vibranium, all the riches of earth shall be mine. Begone! This land is ours! So speaks T'Chaka, the chieftain. Then, retorts Klaw, T'Chaka shall speak no more. Gun him down, now. Crack, crack! It was the first time I heard the sound of gunfire, a sound I was to remember all the days of my life. Father, father, cries the boy. And the I guess this is the witch doctor. He says, they have slain T'Chaka, but his death shall be avenged. I, who had lived in the jungle since birth, I had never seen such violence as I beheld that moment, while the machine gun fire of Klaw fell upon our warriors without mercy. This warrior says we are helpless before the withering fire of the invaders. Flee, my brave ones, flee! We must live to fight another day. But over the noise of the gunfire, one sound kept roaring in my anguished brain, the sound of a name I would hate for all eternity, the name of Klaw. We got 'em, Klaw, says one of his soldiers. They're on the run. The mound is ours. It's mine, mine alone. It belongs to Klaw, only to Klaw, just as all the world will one day be mine. Seconds later the firing had ceased, but the more deadly silence which followed was more deafening, more fraught with dread than all the thunder that had gone before. Father, cries the young Black Panther, my father! In that split second, my boyhood ended as the new chieftain of all the Wakandas was born. And he said, from this moment forth, I live with but one thought, one aim, one goal. This deed must be avenged. Klaw shall pay in full measure. I shall be as strong and as fearless as the sacred Black Panther. This do I swear to T'Chaka, my father who is no more. To the male Wakandan, the Black Panther represents a figurative God image and is considered to be a sacred being, as the cow is venerated in India. Well, that's interesting. That comes from religious fanatic Stan. Suddenly, I heard the sound of a man muttering behind me. Silently, with a seething rage in my heart, I turned. This fellow is saying, Klaw would have my hide if he knew I almost forgot his sound blaster. I better get it over to him while I can. And then young Black Panther thinks, I do not know what that object is, but it shall never find its way back to the evil one. So this is a sound blaster. I wonder what it will do. There, says young Black Panther, the first blow has been struck against Klaw, the first of many that shall endlessly follow until he has been completely destroyed. So he struck him from behind with a branch. He said, now I must hasten after him while there is still time. Finding the strange weapon surprisingly light in weight, I lifted it, carrying it with me until I reached the gates of our village, where my eyes beheld Klaw's final act of villainy. My people fleeing for their lives, our village in flames. This is no man I seek to battle. Truly he is evil incarnate. His very presence befouls the earth upon which he stands. And this fellow says, out, drive them out. This must be Klaw. He says the mound of vibranium must belong to Klaw. Only I am destined to be supreme. Only I am master of sound. And so his soldiers burn the village, and Klaw plans to take over the mound of vibranium. Then Black Panther continues the story. Without conscious thought, I aimed the fearsome object in my arms directly ahead of me, while my finger began to tighten on the trigger as I cried, "You have slain my father. You have put the torch to our village, and now you must pay." And then a Claw cries out, "The sound blaster! He's about to fire it! Stop him! He doesn't know what he's doing." Too late! He detonated it. It was an accident. He doesn't even know how to aim it. The shot fell short. I'll make sure he gets no second chance. "You little fool," says Claw. "You cannot realize the forces you are tampering with. The device you hold converts sound into pure energy. In the wrong hands, it can wreak unmentionable havoc." "Yours are the hands that are wrong, evil one," says Black Panther, "not mine. Look out! He's gonna fire again." Claw thinks the little savage wouldn't dare. "I see you starting to squeeze your trigger, but you are too late. This is for T'Chaka, the warrior king." Zack! He detonates the sound blaster, and Claw cries out, "My hand!" Something has happened to his hand. "Run, Claw! Run!" says a soldier. "It's certain death to remain here while he holds the sound blaster." "But the vibranium!" cries Claw. "I can't go without the vibranium." "You'll have to," says another soldier. "We're not staying to dig it up for you. We want to live." Claw says, "You shattered my hand, lost me my men, but I'll return. The vibranium yet will be mine." And then back to the present, Black Panther says, "That was 10 years ago, to the day. I could not then pursue him, for the shock of firing those 2 mighty bursts had drained my youthful strength. But I know he will return. I can sense that the time has come, and this time I shall be ready." And Thing finally kind of gets a good idea. He says, "That story's just plain nutty enough to be true." Well, I'm sure it's true. The Fantastic Four are telling it, all right? "It is true," says Black Panther. "I sold small portions of vibranium to various scientific foundations, enabling me to amass a fortune, the equal of any on Earth." "So," says Thing, "that's how you could afford that far-out mechanized jungle of yours." "That? I did it for a lark. It was a simple exercise to test my skill, for I had attended the fine universities of both hemispheres." And then Thing asks, "How about your panther power, the way you see in the dark and stuff?" "That's a secret handed down from chieftain to chieftain. We eat certain herbs and undergo rigorous rituals, of which I am forbidden to speak." "But why the heck did you try to trap us?" asked the Thing, which I think is a good question. And Black Panther answers, "I had to. You 4 were the supreme test. If I could fight you to a standstill, then I am ready for Claw." Oh, phooey. "Although he has kept hidden from me all these years, I know he is planning to—" "Wait! Whee! Whee! Whee!" Now what? It has come, the long-awaited critical danger signal. "What a deal," says the Thing. "You move one of them crazy panther statues, and the whole blasted wall slides back. Quiet. This censuscope is recording the approach of a nameless menace from the direction of our sacred mound. Claw has returned." Claw! Perhaps he's the one that's responsible for those gigantic crimson creatures that have been destroying the border of Wakanda. Perhaps Claw now has entered Wakanda itself and is threatening Black Panther. And of course, he doesn't know it yet, but he's also threatening the Fantastic Four, not to mention Wyatt Wingfoot. And so I bet that our friends are going to ally with each other and fight off the claw. And that will come in our next episode. Are y'all enjoying this story? I hope so. I'll be back with the rest of the story very soon. Love y'all. Bye bye.